Obviously not to this extent, and I think the ceiling that Alex Eala has is obviously that much higher. And I'm going to bring in a little boxing here because my dad wanted me to be a boxer, but I chose tennis. But Manny Pacquiao.
Good call.
Manny Pacquiao, we saw him when he, was at the top of his game, and alongside Roger Federer, he actually had more prize money.
Analysts are going all out, holding nothing back and avoiding any cautious or diplomatic language as they boldly declare Alex Eala the most famous women's tennis player in the WTA right now. Even before Indian Wells begins and before the draws are made, professional tennis conversations are already dominated by one name, Alex Eala. Current players, legends, and experts alike are pointing in the same direction, insisting that she is the biggest name in women's tennis today, and that the sport must fully recognize her impact. Experts have gone even further, placing her above players who built legendary careers and left lasting marks on the game. Ana Ivanovic, the former Grand Slam champion, shocked the room by stating that Eala has surpassed the level of fame and recognition that Serena Williams built across an entire career. She clarified that this was not a slight against past legends, but an honest acknowledgement that what Eala is generating in global attention and fan devotion is something the WTA has never witnessed at this scale or speed. Ivanovic, who won French Open and once stood at the top of the world rankings, even compared Ela's impact on women's tennis to the influence Manny Pacquiao had on boxing at the peak of his career. According to her, Eala is not just competing at the highest level, she is pulling the entire spotlight of the sport onto herself and making the world pay attention. Ivanovic made it clear that if Eala continues at this level, there will be no stopping her, as the pinnacle of women's tennis is no distant dream, but a destination she is steadily approaching with every match she plays.
I think that if Eala, can keep doing well with her tennis, who knows, the sky's the limit on the court, off the court. I mean, she could be rolling in it, if you will.
What makes this even more compelling is that the experts are not just focused on her results, but on who she is as a person. They speak about the way she carries herself with humility and genuine respect for the game and for everyone around her. Reflecting on her win over IGA Swiatek, analysts have emphasized that she is not allowed the spotlight to inflate her ego. Instead, she handles attention the way truly great athletes do, with grace, quiet confidence, and a grounded presence that makes fans trust her and support her even more deeply. This rare combination of elite-level tennis and authentic character is something the sport constantly searches for but seldom finds, and Alex Eala appears to possess it naturally.
I remember last year when she beat Iga Swiatek, and she kind of did it with a lot of grace and humility, and it was really, for me, it was terrific to see her take that match and watch her play after that and watch her try to continue to progress, because I like her game. Obviously, she wants to get better than where she is now.
Sam Querrey, the former Grand Slam finalist who competed at the highest level of professional tennis, stepped forward with a bold and direct statement. Sam Querrey declared that Alex Eala is the single biggest draw in the WTA right now, not one of the biggest, but the biggest, full stop. According to him, her ability to attract attention and generate excitement surpasses every other player on the tour in that crucial dimension. Every time she walks onto the court, there is a shift in the atmosphere that feels organic and impossible to manufacture. Querrey went even further, suggesting that some top 10 players, including stars like Aryna Sabalenka, who have dedicated their lives to reaching the summit of the sport and have won its biggest titles, may be watching the wave of attention surrounding Eala with mixed emotions. These are champions who have conquered nearly every peak in professional tennis, yet the spotlight and devotion following Eala, wherever she goes, is something they cannot ignore. Querrey made his comments, he implied, because the current reality of professional tennis demands that level of honesty.
Draw in women's tennis right now.
Yes.
Is she bigger than Sabalenka? Is she bigger than Coco?
Dude, it's crazy. She's having the same effect that Fonseca was having, like, on the men's side last year in Miami.
It's like Fonseca, but I think it's bigger than Fonseca.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Like, the Doha, crowds were insane for her last week.
Yeah.
Correct.
She's definitely one to watch, obviously because she's so good, but just for the atmosphere. You want to tune into her matches just to see what it's like on the court.
There's got to be, like, a little jealousy maybe from some of the women, that girls coming in, she's not top 10, big.
Now, the story deepens even further because it is no longer just analysts and commentators speaking. The players themselves are sharing their experiences. Jessica Pegula, one of the most respected competitors on the WTA Tour, described what she personally witnessed when she faced Alex Eala at the Miami Open. Pegula admitted she was genuinely astonished by the atmosphere inside the stadium before a single ball was struck. The crowd was massive, the energy electric, and the passion overwhelming, with fans emotionally invested in every point in a way she had not anticipated. She even used the word insane, not as a complaint, but as the highest form of admiration, recognizing that she was standing in the middle of something truly historic. Pegula went on to emphasize that whether it was Miami, the Australian Open, or the Dubai Tennis Championships, Alex Eala consistently draws the biggest crowds on tour across different continents and tournaments. Fans are traveling specifically to see her, lining up far beyond what a typical match would attract, simply for the chance to watch her play. That kind of magnetic global connection is something professional tennis has tried to cultivate for years, yet Eala seems to generate it naturally through her talent, her personality, and the compelling power of her story.
Week after week, as she has done well and established herself as a really good player on tour, they all come out to support her. And so I think we saw that in Australia when it was kind of overcrowded. They put her on too small of a court. We saw it here. You can hear it from the hotel. You can hear the crowd roaring, especially at night. So it's incredible.
The Australian Open showed the world just how real Alex Eala's impact has become. The scenes outside the stadium during her matches were unlike anything the tournament had witnessed in years, with massive crowds gathering and queues stretching endlessly as fans hoped for a chance to get inside. Many never made it through the gates, despite spending significant time and money traveling to Melbourne. They stood outside, listening to roars they could not see, yet remained simply to feel close to the moment. That level of devotion speaks to the depth of what Eala inspires. Then Novak Djokovic added his voice to the growing chorus. Widely regarded as the greatest player in tennis history, with more Grand Slam titles than anyone before him, Djokovic called Alex Eala the greatest tennis player the Philippines has ever produced and said she deserves every bit of respect and recognition the sport can offer. He also addressed concerns about how her scheduling and court assignments have been handled at certain tournaments, suggesting they have not always reflected her true status or drawing power. When Djokovic speaks, the tennis world listens, and his endorsement made it clear that Ella's rise is not just hype, but something the sport must fully acknowledge.
That happened. I mean, it's you could argue that it was, maybe a poor schedule, and maybe they could schedule him on a bigger court. Yes, but again, she's so young and she's just coming through. Alex Eala, that's been a talk, and which is understandable. There's some players coming from respective countries, like she's coming from Philippines, which is now a big deal. She's been the biggest ever, tennis player from that country, which is a big country, and there's a big interest.
Analysts, former Grand Slam champions, active tour players, and even legends of the sport are all aligned in their belief that Alex Eala is the next superstar of the WTA and the most talked about name heading into Indian Wells. She is generating excitement before a single point has even been played. And when she steps onto the court, the entire tennis world seems to turn its attention toward her. That is the effect she has. She makes people watch. The debate now is whether she truly is the most famous player in the WTA at this moment, or if the hype is beginning to outpace the results. When a legend like Ana Ivanovic compares her impact to that of Manny Pacquiao, it raises the question of whether the comparison feels justified or slightly premature. And after what Jessica Pegula described at the Miami Open, the electric atmosphere and overwhelming crowd energy, many are wondering if this is the rise of a true global icon or simply a powerful moment that still needs to be sustained over time before she can officially be crowned the face of women's tennis.